Welcome to CallumConnects, 5-minute entrepreneurial inspiration for your day. Today's guest is Rico Ngoma. Rico is the CEO of SourceFindAsia, a manufacturing consulting company. Over the last 5 years, his company has exported over $15 million worth of goods globally. Basically, if you want to make something made in China, he's the plug. He also releases weekly YouTube videos, SourceFindAsia, and a weekly podcast called Made in China Podcast, where he interviews entrepreneurs and talks about sourcing, business in Asia, and a little bit of lifestyle.
So one hurdle that I think is unique to me as an entrepreneur that I had to overcome, and I'm still kind of working on it, is I run a manufacturing consulting company based in China, and I've been able to systemize the business where I don't physically have to be in China all the time. So there's two parts to this. As a consultant, in general, the business has been built around me and my expertise, me and my business partner's expertise, but mainly me being the face of the company. And a lot of that had to do with me physically being in China. So a lot of my clients in the past worked with us because they wanted to work with me. They still do, but it's a little bit different now. So the first thing that I had to do with that was change the perception of, hey, you're working with me and I'm the one going to factories. It's more, hey, you're working with me because of the system that I've built and the team that I have. And I obviously oversee it as the CEO of the company. So I started to pass on more responsibility about 2 and a half years ago. I started to pass on more responsibility to, and my company's been running for 5 years, to our project manager, a senior project manager. She started to take over more client-facing conversations, even if there was, let's say, an issue in a project, rather than, a lot of times the clients would just say, hey, I want to talk to Rico. I would discuss it with her, help her come up with a solution, and then she would present it to the clients. So then, the clients start to get used to the aspect of like, she can come up with a solution, or she can be the one to have that discussion. Even if the background is that I'm overseeing and I'm giving advice, I just end up spending less time because I don't have to hop on calls with the clients. And even certain update calls that we do with long-term projects where we have a weekly update call. Initially, I used to be on those calls all the time. Now she's handling those calls directly with the clients, and that seems to be going fine. Another big thing that we did was hire a sales manager, a customer success manager, as we call him. And that was another big thing, is having myself one step removed. So even if the clients come to our business through seeing one of my YouTube videos or listening to my podcast, they don't necessarily, when they contact the business, they don't necessarily talk to me directly. They talk to our customer success manager, and he sets up the project. He's their main point of contact. So that was another thing that allowed my clients to, even from the beginning of a project, be accustomed to the idea that, hey, Rico's there, but I might not necessarily have to talk to Rico all the time. And then, of course, my team in China, I trust them, and we've built a good system around that. So that's what I had to do from the consulting side of things. From the manufacturing side of things, and especially running a business in China, there's so many hurdles there. There's the trust aspect of, just because of the way business is done in China and me not physically being in the office on a daily basis, I had to really trust my team. And having a senior employee who's been with me for almost 4 years now, I really placed a lot of responsibility on her. And then I've also given her a roadmap in terms of her getting equity in the business and, taking on a COO role. So there's a lot of things that I had to do. And then the systemization of the business was really important with China because, like with a lot of Asian countries, there's a lot of micromanagement involved. So from the beginning of the business, I've always been very much focused on systemizing everything and creating standard operating procedures around everything that I do, so that I could pass those tasks on down the chain. And making sure that if there's an app that we can use rather than using documents to track something, we're using that, and then constantly trying to improve on those things. And now we're at a stage where my senior employees make their own SOPs, and I just check them, or I give advice. And another major thing is figuring out payments with China. Like with China, because there's a restriction on foreign currency, importing foreign currency and exporting foreign currency, I had to find alternative, money transfer methods. There's a money transferring service called GoRemit, where they receive foreign currency from a Hong Kong business, Hong Kong registered company, and then pay into mainland China in local currency. So those are some of the things that I had to figure out. And then I had to test out the systems and stress, and then we had to put in place rules around remote work. And I actually allowed my entire company to become remote. So even though my employees in China need to physically be in China, they don't have to be in the office on a daily basis. They can work from home. This is way before COVID. We implemented these systems. So it's a little bit of all those things. I had to trust my staff, pass on more responsibility, hire people to take on some of the roles that I was taking client facing wise. I had to put in the right systems. I had to figure out some of the things, some of the unique issues that are unique to China. And then we had to stress test those systems and improve. And also I allowed my team to enjoy the same freedoms that I enjoy. Obviously not as much. They still need to be in China most of the time, but they still get the feeling of freedom and being able to choose where they work.
To receive a complimentary copy of the Progressive Partnerships book for entrepreneurs on Kindle or audiobook, plus loads of other goodies at the intersection of investing and small business, go to CallumLang.com now.